surface area, you're gonna add up the lateral area and then the area of the two bases. So for us, so to be like more specific, we're gonna take the lateral area and add the two bases, which are trapezoids. The area of a trapezoid is 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. Okay, so surface area equals, we got our lateral area, plus, if you look at like the 2 and the 1/2, those are essentially gonna cancel each other out, so let's just leave those off. The height of the trapezoid, this is, the purple thing's the trapezoid. What's the height of the trapezoid?
12.
No, height of the
6.
trapezoid. Yes, 6.
Finally.
6. That's this guy. And then the two bases, what are the two bases?
8 and 12.
8 and
6.
No.
5 actually.
5. Those are the two bases. So you're gonna do 8 plus 5.
This was more complicated than I thought it was supposed to be.
You can't get stuff confused like the heights. You're talking height of trapezoid in this part. Alright, so 308.5 plus, we're gonna multiply 6 times the sum of 8 and 5, so that's 13. You should get approximately 386.5. And these are units squared because it's still area. Find the lateral area of a cylinder.
2 pi
2 pi RH.
r.
It's just the perimeter of the base times height again, but perimeter of the base, since the base is a circle, that's circumference. Good. Alright, so 2 pi, what is the radius?
The radius is 4.
3.5.
No, 3.5. Yeah.
I did that last night. I put 4.5.
I was looking at it and I'm like 4.5. No, that's definitely not it.
Okay, what's the height of the cylinder?
11.
Yeah. Okay, so again, show the formula, show you plugging the things in. Then you're gonna simplify, but leaving it in terms of pi. So 2 times 3.5 is 7. 7 times 11 is 77 pi. And these are in square inches. That's your lateral area in terms
I was
of
about
pi.
to say 711.
7.
Then your surface area is your lateral area plus your two bases. But our two bases, we can get more specific, are pi r squared. Because they're circles. So we already have our lateral area. We're going to add 2 pi r squared. We already found r, remember? It's 3.5.
That's squared.
So that you might want to use the calculator for like 3.5 squared. Then you multiply it by 2 and you get 24.5. So you have 77 pi plus 24.5 pi. That's going to be 101.5 pi inches squared.
I get cylinders. Cylinders are easy.
What?
What the?
Cylinders, the reason cylinders are easy is because they only have like 2 parts, whereas the prisms,
They can have
they
multiple.
can have lots of parts.
Bishop, are you gonna put Euler's formula in
I don't know,
the
it's on
actual?
the review. Find the following. Okay, a hexagonal pyramid. Do you want to draw it? You can if you want. So,
But it's always fun to draw.
This calculator is better.
Yeah. See, look, fun.
okay, pyramid. It says that the height of the pyramid is 12 centimeters and it has one base edge of 2 centimeters. Your surface area formula for a pyramid is what? Anyone remember?
It's LA
1/2.
plus
Well, what is LA?
lateral
1/2.
area.
Well,
PL.
what is it?
Oh, the lateral.
1/2 perimeter of the base times slant height.
Okay, and then plus the
Plus-
one area of the
Yeah,
base.
plus base.
What kind of shape is our base?
A pyramid.
No, just the base.
Oh, it's a
Hexagon.
it's hexagon.
Hexagon. How do you find the area of a hexagon?
1 over 2 times A times B.
Yeah. It's 1/2 apothem times perimeter, because it's a pyramid.
No.
And it's a hexagon as its base. Now, if it's a square base, it's easy. You just do like meh, meh. Not the case here. So
I messed this up.
1/2 perimeter. Now the perimeter, if this is 2, what's our perimeter?
2 times 6,
Yeah,
and that's 12.
and that's 12. So let's plug that in. We have perimeter in 2 places, here, and then we also have it, put it over here. We also have it over here for this heat. Okay. Now, slant height. Do they give us the slant height?
No.
No, unfortunately. There's no slant height. That would have been like this right here. So you have to make a little right triangle in here to figure it out. Do you see the right triangle that I drew? The height of this right triangle we know is 12. Since this side length is 2, we know that this is 1. So we have to do a little bit of math to find the slant height. So we're gonna do 1 squared plus 12 squared equals the slant height squared. So that's 1 plus 144 equals the slant height squared. So that's 145 equals the slant height squared. So the square root of that is gonna be my slant height. That's what I'll put in for slant height. I'm just gonna leave it in radical form because that's what it wants it in. Now, questions on that so far? Next part's a little bit harder. We have to find the apothem, okay? So turning around a little bit, this is our hexagon. We have to find the apothem.
So half of 2.
So we're gonna take half of 2, and that will give us 1. That's this part right here.
And then you do 360 divided by 12.
Do 360 divided by 12, and that gives you the angle here of 60, which means this one right here is just 30. I'm gonna redraw this triangle so that it's bigger. This is 30. We already said that this is 1, and this is the apothem that I wanna find. Now, it wants this in radical form. The only way to get this in radical form is to use your special triangles. 30, 60, 90. If this is 30, it's the short side. So we know that short times root 3 equals long. And we're looking for the long side, which is our apothem. So short times root 3 equals long, which is our apothem. So the apothem is the square root of 3. Now, if it didn't want it in radical form, then you probably could have done this with trigonometry, like SOHCAHTOA, and you would have used like tangent.
Yeah, it's usually always 10.
Now, I made it harder on the quiz, or on the review sheet than the test, because I want you to be prepared for all things.
Yeah, this was really hard.
Yeah, good. You're gonna take half of 12, which is 6. Then we may or may not be able to square root, like simplify this square root, but I'm gonna save that. You'll take half of 12 over here, which is also 6. Okay, let's see if we can simplify the square root of 145. What's the number that goes into 145?
5.
5, good. And 5's gonna go in there
29 times.
29 times. Are there any numbers that go into 29?
No.
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 So
So we weren't able to do anything really with that. So that means this doesn't simplify. If this doesn't simplify, these aren't like terms. So your answer is just like what you see there. So we got this, and then we just put units after it. These are square centimeters. We couldn't combine these.
Wait, so I see. But if they were
For those of you who maybe use trigonometry to do this, you would have done tangent 30 equals opposite over adjacent. Did anyone do this? Well, just in case, then you would have multiplied by A and then divided by tangent. And then you would have just plugged this in for your apopum instead. But your calculator doesn't get that to you as a radical, so that's why we did it with special triangles. Okay? Just kidding. How do you find the volume of a pyramid?
1/3 base times height.
Now we already have a lot of this. So we have the area of the base. That was this part right here. Like this part here. Okay? And so that was, what was that? 6√3 was the area of the base. So that's the nice part, is we already have a good chunk of the answer. And we also have the height of the pyramid. The height of the pyramid was 12, so we don't have to do any math to figure that out either.
So you just do 6 times 12.
Yeah, well this one actually, it doesn't say in any kind of form, so then this one we would round to decimal places. So let's just type all that in.
Okay.
So that's gonna be 41.57 rounded to 2 decimal places. And these are gonna be cubic centimeters instead because it's volume.
What did you give me?
So you guys know like an ice cream cone
No.
is a cone.
C.
This wants to know how many cubic inches of ice cream can fit in the cone. You're just finding the volume of the cone,
Oh, I thought it
That's
was
what I
having a
did.
lot of area.
which is 1/3 area of the base, which is pi r squared times the height. It tells us the diameter of the cone, so what would be the radius?
The radius is wait, what's the diameter? The radius is
1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 1.3.
So this is gonna be 1/3 pi, and then we'll do 1.5 squared. Does it tell us the height of the
Yes,
cone?
6 inches.
Good, so 6 inches is the height of the cone. And we're just rounding for this one, so plug it all in. So 14.14 cubic inches, oops, of ice cream can fit in the cone.
I'm gonna put 14.14 cubic inches of ice cream in my cone.
No.
Make sure I'm gonna measure. it.
Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a cone be made. But anywho, it says how many square inches of batter is needed to make the cone. Really, I'm just asking for surface area, but it's not surface area because, you know, with a cone, it's like, there's no, it's a hole in the top, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the lateral area, or the surface area minus the base. So you're looking for a lateral area. So that's gonna be, perimeter, pi r l, perimeter of the 1/2 perimeter of the base times the slant height. Now they don't give us the slant height. So if this is my cone, do you want me to put a right side up? We know the height was 6 and the radius is 1.5. So we'll have to find the slant height for this one. So we're gonna do 1.5 squared plus 6 squared equals L squared. I don't know what that means, but that's 2.25 squared, 2.25 plus 36 equals L squared. That's gonna be 38.25 equals the slant height squared, and then the square root of that is your slant height.
Hey, why is it the little L? Why do we use L but Math Excel uses an S? Like I noticed that the other day.
Oh, Math Excel uses S?
Yeah, they should. Apparently I was
slant
doing
height?
a question wrong, And when I went for the like help me solve this thing, it showed this formula and it was, I think it was for a cone actually. It said LA equals pi RS and I'm like, what is S?
Really?
So it uses
I didn't know that.
I was so confused. I'm like, what formula?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I like added it to
You sure it wasn't for like the side of something?
No, it was to find the lateral area. I don't know why it said. I just like assumed it was like right. I got the question right.
I didn't know that. Find the surface area and volume of a tennis ball with
Take it on
diameter.
surface
Alright, so we're gonna do surface area
here.
is 4 pi r squared. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So our surface area, in terms of pi, if the diameter is 68 millimeters,
34.
and 34 would be the radius. So square 34 and multiply it by 4.
It's 1,156.
Dang it.
And this is pi square millimeters.
I didn't even buy.
Wait, no, that's not multiplied by 4. That's just 34 squared.
Oh, just kidding, multiply by 4.
Sorry, that's 4,624.
Good eye, Nate, good eye.
Got it. Okay. And then you leave the pi, because it wants it in terms of pi. So then volume's really similar, but you're multiplying by 4/3. So we'll still put the same radius in there. We're just gonna cube it this time, and then multiply by 4/3. So 34 cubed times 4/3. It's like an icky fraction,
Icky.
because it's not divisible by 3. And since this is volume, these are gonna be cubic millimeters.
So you only multiplied it by 4?
No, I divided by 3,
Then why is
but it's like, it doesn't go in evenly, so we just put it over
Oh.
3 to leave it in its exact form. Because if you divide, you're gonna get a rounded answer, and that kind of defeats the point of putting it in terms of pi.
That makes sense.
7 and 8 were like.
Bishop, have you ever seen how a cone was made? Like, have you ever seen that video where like they take it and they put it on the thing?
Yeah.
That's so sad.
A sphere has a volume of 900 cubic inches. What is the surface area to the nearest hole? So, first thing you can do is take your volume, like amount, and set it equal to the volume formula. What's the volume
Pi
formula?
r cubed.
Exactly. So you're gonna take 900 and set it equal to that.
Wait, I did 900 times 3/4. Does that work too or no?
Well, I'm not done yet, yeah. So that's your first step, is to take 900 and you're gonna solve for the radius by multiplying by the reciprocal 3/4.
Okay.
And you're gonna get 2700/4 equals pi, r cubed. Then you wanna divide by pi, okay? So when you divide by pi, it goes on the bottom, like that. Then you cube root that to get the radius. I'm leaving it like this, don't round yet, okay? Leave it like that. You're gonna use that radius to find the surface area. So once you find the radius, you're gonna find the surface area by doing 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi, and then we're gonna use our r and square it. So
It's like a long study to do.
wait until the end.
My grade's pretty good, I think I'm solid.
I have a question. No, you just did that. Okay. Actually, I do have a question
Yeah.
because I've been confused for so long. Okay, so when there's a 3 in front of the
The cube root,
yeah, do you plug that in? How do
Yeah.
you, like you just put a 3?
control, and then the little up arrow.
Oh, you do.
There's a cube root function on your
I
calculator.
just put 3 and I always get these really high numbers.
No, you're cubing it, that's why. You wanna cube root it. Okay, so it wants us to round to the nearest whole number. So this is gonna be approximately 451 cubic inches. No, square inches. It's a surface area. Surface area.
You plug that all in.
Okay, it could be like this one, or it could be different. This particular one
It's a rectangle.
is a rectangular prism
I literally texted my friend because I didn't know how to do this, and I was
plus
so
half the cylinder. That's like the concept, okay? Now, this question wants us to find the volume. So, I'll do volume of prism over here, and then volume of cylinder over here. So the formula for the volume of a prism, that's the area of the base times height. This is a half cylinder, so it's half of a cylinder. That would be 1/2 area of base times height. No, area of the base is, yeah, just kidding, that's right. Okay, let's start with the rectangular prism, because that's a little bit easier.
So 24 times 12.
This is the base,
Oh.
okay? It's also like here, if you wanna look at it that way. Okay, so this is the base. This is 12 by 24. Or not 12, did I say 12?
Yeah.
10 by
I was gonna
24.
say.
So this is 10, and then it says down here that this is 24. So that's our area of base, 10 times 24. Then by height, it means height of prism. So how tall is the prism?
12.
12.
That's the first.
Sweat.
Okay, so volume of that piece is 2,880. So we'll like put that off to the side for now.
Why can't I write
Wait, I feel like this is easier than.
It is easy, that's right.
Okay, so that's the volume of the prism. Now we have to find the volume of the cylinder. Because, so I'm gonna erase some of these lines. Because this whole thing is 12, that would make our radius 6.
Yay.
So the volume of our half cylinder is gonna be 1/2 of pi r squared h. So that's pi r squared is gonna be 6 squared. And then what is the height of the cylinder?
10.
Yeah.
No, 12.
No, 10.
It's 10.
Oh.
This is the height of the cylinder, goes this way, so it's 10. Plug all that in.
So 36 times 10. Well, 36 divided by 2. I can't do mental math. It doesn't work in my head.
So then don't.
I know, everyone's just so cool when they do it.
I can do it sometimes, but it's not always.
I can't run fast. You look cool when you do that too.
Oh, I cannot run at all.
Now, the last thing you're gonna do is just add these together. So we're gonna take,
Wait, Mr. Rob, I have a question.
yeah,
Do we need to time 1/2 again because it's half
no, that's part, that was included, the 1/2. That's not part of the formula.
The regular cylinder is pi r's height.
Yeah,
Okay.
pi r squared height. So this is approximately, because it wants us to round to the nearest cubic inch, 3,445 cubic inches.
Wait,
What?
wouldn't it be 46?
No.
Because I got .49, and then you round, and then what?
You
You don't
round
like
it to
round
a-
and round again, you just round once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just
Oh.
round. One.
Silly goose.
What
Yeah.
did you do?
Silly goose.
I don't even know. Just ignore it.
Mr. Rep, do you think it's I'm currently discussing this with friends. Do you think it's possible for someone to like not be able to run? Because I'm
Yes.
convinced
But
that
when
I
you're
cannot
sleeping, do you have
Like surface
Switch code.
area. So surface area of a prism, that's perimeter, well, So it's perimeter of base times height plus the area of the two bases. Do we have all those surfaces?
We do.
Yes you do.
Do we though?
You have the base, you have the perimeter is 24 times 4, and then the height is 12.
No, but we don't have all these surfaces.
Oh,
Splat.
I thought it was.
So if we don't have all the surfaces, we might not want to use that formula. We might want to use some other
The
method.
Euler's formula.
Wait, you can change it? You can
Well-
like pick what formula you wanna.
You can just find the area of all the surfaces. If you look, we don't have this surface. You see how we're missing that surface? Because it's
Pythagoras.
attached to the cylinder. So what we can do instead is just find the area of every single surface. They're all rectangles, so it'll be easy. So ready? To find our surface area of like the rectangular part, first just find, what's this surface?
What's 12 times 24?
12 times 24.
Good, so let's start with that, 12 times 24.
What is 12 times 24?
Now that's gonna be the same as this back surface, right?
Yeah, so times that by 2.
Is the answer 288?
So sure, let's multiply that by 2, because there's gonna be 2 of those. I don't know. Then we have one of these,
But we technically have 2 of those.
No.
but we don't, because we don't have this surface.
Oh.
288.
So we have one 10 by 12.
Definitely
No,
288.
you didn't.
Now
times
we
by two.
have this base, we have this one, this is 12 by 24. How many of those do we have?
2.
Yeah, we have 2 of those,
Wait, isn't that
because we have that
10 by
one
24?
and then this one.
Isn't that 10 by 24?
Oh, it is 10 by 24.
I was really
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna rewrite this a little differently. Yeah, cause it's, this is 10, yeah, 10 by 24, good call. Okay, so then let's just like do all that together. So,
It's 576 for the pink.
Yeah.
It is 120 for the blue. And then it is 480 for the orange.
1176.
Is the entire thing?
Yeah.
Well, that's just
What we got.
like the rectangular prism part.
Move so much,
Okay.
it gives me anxiety.
But then the other part of this that's like attached to that is this cylinder. Now the nice part about the cylinder is we really do just have half of a cylinder. So since we have half a
Half the
cylinder,
work.
we can do surface area for half of a cylinder. So surface area of a cylinder would be pi to so cylinder is like a prism, so it's gonna be perimeter of the base times height plus the area of the two bases. But since it's only half a cylinder, we're gonna take half of this and get rid of the 2's. So, what was the radius? Do you remember?
6.
6.
Yeah. Let's do.
And the height of the cylinder? 10. And the area of the base. So how do you find the area of a circle?
By doing pi r squared.
Yeah,
Hey.
change this to like pi r squared if we want.
That was good.
And we know the radius is 6.
So it's gonna be 60 plus 36.
Do anything.
Yeah,
with that.
so that's 96 pi. Then your final answer is to take both and add. Yeah, I said that.
This is kind of easy, but then at the same time, it's not.
I felt that.
This is a
How
I
does
make
this
people
work?
feel things. It's one of my many talents.
Excuse me.
By many talents, I mean the only one.
Except for running.
Yeah,
This is
obviously.
squared. Surface
No,
area.
her running is a hidden talent.
Yeah.
So
No one knows.
1,478 square inches.
Whoa, I got 12.
12.
I got 1272.
What?
No,
You
her
forgot
answer's
the
actually
pi.
correct. I've
You
got
gotta
the same
multiply
thing on both
96
my
times pi
calculators.
first.
So
And then add. It's not 96, it's 96 pi.
Probably the tournament.
Are the two figures similar? If so, give the scale factor. You're gonna check the ratios of corresponding sides. This is what you're checking. 9 to 12 and 18 to 27. And then you're gonna simplify. These both divide by 3.
3 over 4.
These divide by 3.
6 over
Oh,
9.
just kidding. Those divide by 9.
That was the one that was missing.
2 over 4.
I was like, I can't put my finger on the number.
Now, if these are the
That's what I
same, the answer is yes.
No.
But
If
it's not.
these are not the same,
So
the
it's not.
answer is no. If they are the same, you would say no, or you would say yes, and then their scale factor. These numbers would be the scale factor, and they would be the same. So you'd say like, yes,
You got it
comma, 3/4, or yes, comma, 2/3. But since they're not the same,
The quiz.
then we don't
I
have a
think we
scale
got that
factor.
right.
Yeah, but we have
No,
one
the
wrong.
win and the ones in
I
there.
think so because we have
One more. And the last one, it gives you the volumes, and you want to find the scale factor. So remember, the way we did this was we cube root these numbers to get the scale factor, because these are the rate. This is the ratio of the volumes. So you cube root this and this.
And you get
9.
9 over 11.
Yeah, that's your scale factor. It's just the cube root of those things.
You made this so much simpler than math itself.
That was on the
Miss
what's it
Rep,
called?
that one was on our notes.